So how are you?
I'm good. This is so cool to like be on your videos.
Yeah.
Like watch so many of them. I feel like a celebrity.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Herrin Twins.
I'm Maliyah.
I'm Kendra.
And today we are interviewing Maddie.
Hi.
So I met Maddie at transplant camp like almost 2 years ago. Yeah, we had a really fun time and she had a really cool story, so we decided to interview her. And Kendra and her have never met, so
Yeah. Not in person at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the first time meeting.
Yep.
Kind of.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Okay.
We're excited too.
Yeah. So first question, tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of your story.
I'm Maddie. I was born with this rare congenital heart defect, and it's only detectable if you have a surgery. So no one thinks to, have a surgery. And so we didn't know I had it for 13 years. And then one day I was at swim practice, and I had this extreme pain in my chest, and I had a heart attack. And then I collapsed, and I was brought in an ambulance to Primary Children's, and then I was put on life support. And then they were trying to figure out what was wrong with my heart, and they fixed it up. And long story short, they thought that I could live for a couple years with the heart that I had, but it turned out that it was just getting worse and worse. So they put me on the transplant list, and then like a couple months later, I got my transplant. So yeah, I got a heart transplant.
It's really scary.
Yeah. Times like those are super scary. What's the date of your heart transplant?
It is January 29th, 2017.
Oh, so you're coming up on how many years?
4?
4? Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
Or you already had. I was thinking it was still January. You just had 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just my 4-year anniversary.
I don't know why I was thinking it was still January.
I did too. I didn't think about it.
How has your heart transplant affected your life, like day to day? Like changed your life?
I think it's changed like my outlook on life, especially. And it's kind of like all that time in the hospital, I was like really influenced by the great people that worked there. And so it's kind of changed like my perspective, and like getting through that, I feel like it's made me a lot stronger, like mentally and emotionally. And so, yeah, it's kind of helped me in that way. It's helped me have a lot of hope and kind of know more about like who I am and how strong I am. But it's also changed like my daily routines and like how careful I am with like germs because of my suppressed immune system. And it's changed like medicines I take and like how much water I drink and certain things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What medicines do you take involving the heart transplant? I'm sure we're on the same ones and stuff.
Yeah, I take 2 different ones for like immunosuppression, and one is like the Tacro, and then one is the mycophenolate.
So do you get labs drawn every month or things like that? Because Maliyah does that every month. She did it this morning.
I get it done like every time I go to the hospital for like a checkup, and then if it's out of range, they'll like look closer at it and do it more.
How do they check heart function? I was just gonna.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna ask too.
Twins.
Well, every time I go to get my checkup, they do blood work, and so that kind of has like a heart panel in it, and then they'll listen to my heart, and then they'll also do like echocardiograms to check my heart, and then every year I have an annual heart biopsy, and so that's when they like go through my leg or my neck, and they go like through a vein or an artery, and they check inside with a camera, and they'll like take a little piece and they'll test it.
Are you awake or asleep for that?
I am asleep.
Oh, good.
They want me to try being awake, but I don't want to be awake.
You're like, no thanks.
I'll sleep.
Yeah. So is your heart disease you have, is it genetic?
Yeah, it is genetic, but it's so rare. Like, they say a doctor will only see it once in their lives.
Oh, wow.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's like, it is genetic, but it's also very rare that, like, I don't think anyone in my family has it.
Wow.
Yeah. Had your doctors ever seen it before?
No, they hadn't.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that's why it took them like so hard, like so long to figure it out, is because like it's so rare that no one even tests for it.
Yeah. What is it called?
It's a anomalous anomalous. I don't even know. Anomalous left coronary artery arising from. Wait,
If you saw it on paper, you would know. But like, can you not pronounce it?
Like, it has
basically my coronary artery was coming off of the wrong spot. Wow. And yeah, so it's like an anomalous left coronary disease.
Yeah. That's crazy. Do you know the like 1 in whatever chance it is? 1 in how many people, certain people have it?
Ooh, I don't know for sure.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah. So what age do people usually figure out that they have this form of heart disease?
Honestly, a lot of the time it's in like autopsies.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I think like certain people have like figured it out with the procedure that I did to figure it out. And then like I know of a girl who was like flown to a different state to help her with it. But yeah, I like since it's so rare, I really haven't heard of many cases.
Yeah.
Do you know anyone with it or no?
No, not personally.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
What has your precautions been with COVID and everything?
So with COVID, I've been mostly staying home. I think I would be okay if I got it, but we're just kind of being extra careful just in case.
Just to keep your heart safe.
Yeah, just to not like, because I know everyone kind of reacts differently with COVID, and so we just want to like protect my heart and protect my, like, since I have a lower immune system. And so yeah, I've just been being like more safe than sorry sort of thing. So I've been doing online school and just kind of trying to stay away from crowds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Were you guys like in the same room at camp?
All the girls were in the same room. But were we on the... Yeah, we were across from each other on the bunks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually just watched that video again yesterday.
I need to watch it. Did you ever get to, like, meet your donor's family or, like, get in contact with them?
Yeah, so it was really cool. They wrote us a letter, and then we wrote them a letter, and they, like, switched in the mail. And so we got the letters, like, around the same time. And then we stayed in touch through letters. And then we were able to meet them. We've met them like twice now. And so one time they like came to our house and said hi to us. And then the other time my donor was being honored in a Rose Bowl parade. And so we like went up there and kind of went to the ceremony, and it's really cool. Yeah, but they are so incredible.
Wow. Did they get to listen to your heart or anything?
No, I don't know why we didn't think of that, but
I've seen those on, like, online.
So how long were you on the waiting list for?
I was put in the waiting list like mid-September, and then I got my heart in January.
So were you like going downhill really fast, and like so that's how you got it so fast, or like were you more on the top of the list or what?
So I was like the middle of the list for a little bit, and then after Christmas they were like, okay, we want to hospitalize you because my other organs were kind of shutting down, and so like it was hard to like eat food, and I would always like throw up when I ate food, and I didn't want to drink water and stuff. And so they let me like have Christmas and everything, but then they wanted to hospitalize me to give me like a feeding tube and to just like keep me healthy, I guess. But then when they hospitalized me, it raised me on the list. So then I got it in a month of within a month of being hospitalized.
Yeah, that's crazy. Being in the hospital for a month, I couldn't imagine, or I could imagine.
We were in it for a long time.
It's awful.
Yeah, and I was just like waiting there for the heart.
Every day is like so long when you're in the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, and all the days are compiled together and you don't remember what days are when.
You're like, what day is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally get that.
Half the time you're on pain medicine and you don't remember anything after.
Yeah.
That happened to me. I forgot Shayla and Maliyah came to visit me because I was on pain medicine.
Yep.
One time. And I'm like, you came to visit yesterday? And they're like, yeah, you don't remember that? I'm like, no.
I'm sure I have like tons of, I'm sure I've forgotten tons of people came to visit me.
Yeah.
But yeah, one time when I was like loopy, so I had like this tube coming out of my chest right here to like circulate my blood a little bit, because my heart needed help. And my friend was like, is that blood in your tube? And I was like, nah, that's just the color of the tube. Because I was so loopy.
That's funny.
Wait, so was it like a form of dialysis?
No, it was an LVAD.
Oh, Grey's Anatomy.
I know. Do you watch Grey's Anatomy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The LVAD?
Yeah, when, have you seen when she like cut the LVAD?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of too.
So is that kind of what you were on then?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That means like when you're really sick, that's what you have to be on.
I think so, yeah, it just kind of helps your heart.
That's crazy. So what was recovery like after you got your transplant and everything?
Honestly, after my transplant, I felt like terrible, but I also felt a lot like better in some ways. So like after my transplant, I remember like telling my mom like, oh, I can breathe again. Like I just felt like my organs were working, and like my spleen was in the wrong spot when I was in organ failure.
Huh. That's weird.
Failure, sorry. But then like when I got my transplant, my spleen went to the right spot. And so the first like several days after were really difficult, like waking up and getting all the tubes out and stuff. But then like after that, like there were a lot of like good things. Like a week after that, I had walked more than I had in heart failure.
Oh, wow.
Just like things like that, where it was hard and it was like really painful, but it was also like I could tell a huge difference.
I think it's with any organ transplant, honestly. Like you
Feel
feel
better.
better because she like instantly.
I was like, I have so much energy. What the heck?
Yeah.
Like, even though you're sick, you feel like you have more energy for some weird reason.
like as soon as you get it, even though you're like in pain and everything.
Yeah. It's crazy how like sudden the difference is.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask you, how long was the like whole process from when like everything happened when you were swimming to like when you got your transplant? Like how long was that?
So I had my heart attack on May 11th, and then I was in the hospital for like 3 months, I think. And then they let me get out of the hospital for a bit. And then in September was when they were like, oh, your heart's not beating like we want it to, or like not as strong as we want it to be. And so then they put me on an IV medicine, and then I had it in January. So it was like from May to January.
so like,
That's not very long at all.
well,
my
it
gosh.
probably felt like a long time.
Yeah, it did feel like a long time, but yeah, especially since I didn't have any health problems. Like from when I was born to 13, I didn't have any health problems that I knew of.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. It's like your life can change like that.
It really can. Yeah.
Was it hard on like your siblings when you were in the hospital and your parents? How did they cope?
So my parents spent a lot of time at the hospital. So I think that's why it was so hard for my siblings, is because like they didn't have like my parents with them for a while. Like they stayed with my grandparents, and like all kinds of people like pitched in to help them. But for like a while they didn't have my parents there because they were staying up at the hospital. And it's like my parents are like, it's aged us so much. Like they were in so much stress. Yeah, I think it was really hard for them. But then we got into like this rhythm of like my mom would be there during the day and my dad would be there like in the evening. And then that was kind of easier for like my siblings because they had like a set schedule when they would see my parents. But yeah, it did kind of changed everyone's life.
It's weird for us because like when one of us is in the hospital, we've both dealt with being the sibling and being the patient. So like we've seen it from both sides because when one of us is in the hospital.
I think you've more seen the sibling than I.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. It is really hard, like, on all of the family.
Everyone.
Like,
And people don't really realize that, I think.
a lot of the time when we got older, my mom just didn't come up until, like, later in the day because she had to get stuff done and everything. And same thing with my dad. He came up in the evening, too. Does your dad work? Is that why?
Yeah, so he would come in after work. But yeah, it's hard to, like, balance, like, with work and family and, like, being in the hospital.
Yeah.
And then, like, I'm lucky I was never in the hospital for, like, a holiday.
Yeah.
But we kind of talked about, like, if I was in the hospital for a holiday, like, what would we do? And, like, how would we split, like, the family time? But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been in the hospital during Christmas.
Oh.
I came home on Christmas Day, but had to miss Christmas Eve, and that's when we do everything with our family is on Christmas Eve. And I was like 7, and I had a really bad infection. And it's tough when you don't have
Yeah.
Christmas with your family.
And we had to wake up extra early so we could go to the hospital.
And have me open my presents.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you want to add? Any places you want to shout out? Anything like that?
I guess I'll shout out Primary Children's because their employees are so incredible and they have really taught me, like, the person I want to be in the future. And, like, I want to go into the medical field.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they've done so much for me. Like, they made everything better. They were my friend when I was just, like, well, the whole time, but especially when I was just, like, waiting in the hospital for my heart to come. They were just my friend and they cheered me on.
Yeah, your nurses do become, like,
Your friends during the day.
Uh-huh.
Like, you get to know them really well.
or I would love it when, like, I'd have a nurse one day and be like, I really like them, and then they would come back, like, 2 more days in a row. That was always the best. I hated it when it always, like, switched nurses, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I loved having, like, the same nurses over and over and kind of, like knowing the nurses. Because I was in the same unit for a while, so I kind of got to know the nurses. I'm so grateful for my donor and all the people who are willing to donate.
Make sure you check yes on your driver's license when you get that.
Or ask if you want to be a donor.
Yes, because
You can save so many lives.
fun fact, my mom when she turned 16, she checked no and ended up being
A live donor, so we're gonna post links down below for Donate Live.
I do have, like, a video on Primary's website, if it's still there, and it, like, kind of tells, like, about my story and, like, has me swimming and stuff.
Go check out that video.
It's going to be linked in the description below. And yeah, we want to thank Maddie for joining us.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
So yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not subscribed, subscribe.
Yeah.
If you tend to come back, because we notice most of our viewers are not subscribed, so subscribe if you tend to be coming back. So yeah. Bye.
Bye.